It's Wednesday. So you know what that means. Yeah, Wine Wednesday. Join your host, James McGee, for a glass of wine and discussion about current events. No matter what's going on in the world, it's easier to swallow mixed with some wine.
Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee, and it is Wine Wednesday. So before I tell you what I am drinking tonight, we have a special guest with us. We normally don't have guests on Wine Wednesday, but we have a special guest tonight. She is a upcoming TikTok sensation. I met her on TikTok. Deirdre. I actually pronounced it right the first time we talked.
Yes.
Deirdre Looney. So I'm going to talk about what I'm drinking first. I am drinking Educated Guess Pinot. And of course, as always, I am drinking out of my official James McGee Show wine glass, courtesy of Engraved in USA, our friend Rich Crumman. So this
awesome.
Pinot, I try to keep our wine on Wine Wednesday in the $20 range. This was pushing it a little bit. The Educated Guess cab is about $26, and this was right at $20. But it is a really good Pinot if you like Pinot. So I know you're not a big alcohol drinker, and you have responsibilities. You have a baby. I don't have responsibilities. I can do whatever I want. But you're drinking. What are you drinking?
Drinker, not a wine drinker.
So you're drinking. What are you drinking? Soda?
I'm just drinking Wawa because we just got Wawas here in Alabama.
Are you serious? I love Wawa. The only Wawa I ever known of is in DC. Every time I go to DC, or actually in
Petersburg.
In Quantico, Virginia, they're big in Virginia is Wawas.
Yep. I used to drive from North Carolina to Virginia just to get Wawa. 4 hours.
Yeah, it's it's pretty cool. It was pretty cool stores over here. Well, y'all have Buc-ee's over there by you, I'm sure, huh? Don't you have a Buc-ee somewhere in Alabama?
Listen, I just went on Facebook and I posted a comment, and I'm getting destroyed for this comment. You do not ever say anything bad about Southerners' food, I have learned, or they get really bent out of shape.
About Buc-ee's?
Well, I said something about Buc-ee's, but I said how these Southerners down here don't appreciate Wawa, and we're just trying to bring some good Northern food to y'all, and y'all don't appreciate it because you want to eat your little tiny gas station. You know how they have the fried chicken in the pans and stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. No. So let's talk about I'm going to talk about how we got here tonight. So, in the past, I've had this podcast for a couple of months. I've been on TikTok, but just in the past month, I have gotten really pretty radical, I guess. I've gotten pissed off. Tim Walz becoming the vice president candidate. I have hated Tim Walz for 4 years, and I can't believe he's vice president candidate. Kamala, to me, is a disaster. So I've gotten pretty radical. So I think with that, I noticed that when you get a little more radical, you start getting more views and more followers. So I came across you, and I think you came across me, and something hit me.
Almost at the same time, actually.
Around the same time.
Your video before you saw my video.
Yeah. And so what struck me was we were pretty much saying the same thing. Here I am, an old white guy from the South. I'm supposed to be a conservative. And here you are. You're a young mother, single mother with the struggles that every single mother goes through. And we're saying the same thing. So I'm like, man, we got to talk. We got to get together. You're not a stereotypical Republican or conservative. And I don't like labels because I don't believe in being tribal. I am a Republican, but I do have some views that traditionally Republicans don't. So you were yelling and screaming on TikTok, and I was yelling and screaming on TikTok. So I figured, hey, let's get together and let's do some yelling and screaming together. So tell us a little bit about yourself, but mainly why are you a conservative? Why are you so anti-liberal, the Democratic Party on this ticket right now? Why are you pro-Trump?
Well, I really got into politics 2020 was when I really got into politics, and I had my first TikTok account. I had my first TikTok video go super viral talking about Kamala Harris, and how she just likes to be black or Indian whenever she wants, and that's not how it works. So, well, at first, 4 years ago, she was saying she was African American. And never in the history of ever has Jamaican plus Indian equaled African American. So
Yeah, Jamaica's not in Africa.
exactly. I mean, technically, you could go all the way back in Ancestry DNA, and it says that I originated from Northern Africa, but that doesn't make me African American. So, that was like my first super viral video, and I was like, whoa. Me yelling and screaming, people listened. So, then I kinda in the beginning, around when COVID started, that's when I really started questioning everything because something about it just didn't sit well with me. Um, and I just started researching everything that popped in my head. I was like, "I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this at all." So then I wanted to find out the truth. So I went to every protest, every rally, school board meetings before I even had a child. I went to DC November, December, and January. And um, I saw firsthand at the BLM riots, not peaceful protests at all, that these people are really evil people. And I wanted no part in that because at that time I was, just didn't know where I sat, but I wanted to find out the truth. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, absolutely not. And then when I saw them pushing a narrative and trying to push the race card so hard, and I'm like, what is this? This is crazy.
So at this point, how old are you?
I was what, 28?
Okay, so something that struck me that you said, and I think that definitely what makes you different than a lot of people that we also see on TikTok that's saying the opposite of us is you did your research.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're doing their research. What I think they're doing, Deirdre, is they're listening to the fucking mainstream media and they're just repeating what they say. They're not independent free thinkers. So what you're telling us is that you went out, you started on, I want to learn for myself. I want to see, I don't know what I believe in. I don't know really where I stand. Let me go do some research. And you did your research. I don't know many people that's put that much, especially at your age, put that much effort into figuring out who they are and where they stand and doing so much research. That's pretty cool.
And that is very true because even on TikTok, I'll go in people's lives and I'm like, guys, like you gotta get to everything. I mean, your township meetings, your city hall meetings, school board meetings, you gotta do it all. Like this is all so important that people get involved in. And yeah, you're right. Like I am very young, so sometimes I'm like, why am I so involved in this? But I also saw firsthand how important it is. And when I was going to like school board meetings, again, before I even had a kid, and just seeing the stuff that they were doing in schools, I was like, that's where we got to start is school board meetings because those children are going to be our future. They will be future presidents and future congressmen and future, senators. So, and another thing, when you said about how people just read stuff on the news, I want to repeat something that I met a Russian lady in DC on November Stop the Steal rally, and she was saying how she used to be a Democrat, and I'm like, how are you Russian and used to be a Democrat? What? How does that make sense? And everybody was kind of questioning her. So she said it is extremely easy to become brainwashed. She said, take the news, for example. Let's just say CNN, Fox, MSNBC, they all report on a car accident. Well, that car accident's probably going to be true. So they've now gained your trust to start trusting them. So the next news story may also be true. They may start fabricating things. And then you've already trusted them. So they already have you in a chokehold. And she said, that's how it was with me. She said, I remember seeing this really bad pile up on a highway. So why wouldn't I trust the news? Why would I think they would lie to me? And I was just like, wow, I never heard it explained like that, but that's so true. Why wouldn't we trust the news? They're supposed to be reporting on news.
Yeah. Well, you saw Kamala's interview just like I saw Kamala's interview. Did that look like journalism to you? I mean, Dana should be totally embarrassed, should be ashamed of herself for the way that she conducted that interview. That shows right there. And that's not journalism. And look, I don't claim to be a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm an activist. I am have views. True journalism and people that are reporting the news, they're not supposed to have views, but they do. Mm-hmm. It is a bias. And you're right. That is completely controlling our country. Shit, it's controlling our world.
She said the only difference is in Russia, they only have very few news stations, whereas here we have several news stations. And 6 out of 8 of them might report on something that's not very factual, where you only have 2 that are actually reporting news. So she said, you're going to believe those 6 versus 2.
So now I told you that I did political strategy and political consulting for a long time. Doing that, let me tell you something I learned. The media has the data on who's watching what. Mm-hmm. They know if females are watching. They know if what age group. They have all that broken down, because when we would go to try to do media and do a target group, we knew we would get this data, we'd get these analytics. Well, don't think that their news broadcast is not geared towards us or whoever so they know what point to say what and where to put what and how to work it. That is, they're not reporting the news. They are manipulating the news with an agenda.
Mm-hmm. And it's exactly to a T what a certain someone in Germany did.
Yeah. No, that's
what people do not realize. My grandmother grew up in Germany, World War II. She's sharp. She'll still tell you stories, but there's also a lot that she won't talk about still to this day. And she's 90 years old. And the stories she tells are like mind blowing, because I could never imagine that. Like all of a sudden, everything was normal, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yeah.
And when she tells these stories, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is literally happening right now. Like the CRT stuff. That one is a big one, because in Germany, they implemented Hitler Academy. That was their curriculum that he installed in the schools. So what are you going to believe? You're only being taught one thing. So he brainwashed the masses. Exactly what they tried to do here, implement the CRT, critical race theory.
Mhm.
And theory is not facts, so it's a whole different thing. But everything that she said about that, I'm like, that's happening here. And it's terrifying. And even now with all the Palestine stuff and everything that they're doing, I'm like, and with them trying to jail their political opponent, exactly what Hitler did. Try to run on democracy, exactly what Hitler did. And then they ended up putting their political opponent in concentration camps and killing them. And guess what? Hitler got to stay in power.
So, I have a theory. And when people say, when they start off with something, how it's not about the money. Well, when that conversation starts that way, it's about the money. When they say, hey, I'm not looking for credit, right then at the start of the conversation, they're looking for credit. Mm-hmm. So they always talk about democracy and Trump's a threat to democracy. They pound that in the ground. It's because they are. And they have referred to Trump as Hitler. They're not dumb, Deirdre. Let me tell you something about these motherfuckers.
They're very smart.
They're not fucking dumb. Mm-hmm. And we got to stop thinking, walls we'll get on walls on that's going to be a whole other episode, us talking about that piece of shit. But they know exactly what they are doing. They're painting Trump as Hitler and a threat to democracy while they are taking Hitler's playbook.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They have his play. They're using it, and people don't see that. And unless you have been, and unfortunately, there is not many people your age that are doing that or educating themselves. So where are they getting their information? From the media. And what are the media saying? Trump is Hitler.
Yep. And another thing is Hitler took over Germany starting with democracy. Democracy turns into dictatorship. And America is not supposed to be a democracy. It's supposed to be a constitutional republic. And that was one thing that I remember questioning back when Obama was in office, because we had just learned about democracy and republics and the differences and all that in government class. I actually listened to that part. But I remember hearing Obama say that, and I'm like, wait, I thought I learned that we're not a democracy. We're supposed to be a constitutional republic. Our Constitution protects us from becoming a democracy. So that word being thrown around like that is very dangerous, and people don't realize that.
So I use the word democracy, and I'm guilty of it because that's just a word that's used. Mm-hmm. And every time I say it, there's a guy on TikTok that wears me out and corrects me every time I use the word democracy. And when I say it, I'm saying it in a way that I just said it, that they are a threat to democracy. He wears me out. Well, no, we are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. He corrects me every fucking time. And you know what? He's right. You're right. But that's just a term that we use. Because why? Because they brainwashed us.
Yep. And like I said, it really started ramped up with Obama, is where the word democracy started being thrown around a lot more than it was before. And I mean, Obama's really where I started to pay attention a little bit more, because I noticed a big divide in things. I'm like, wait a second, in high school, was it like this? We were friends with everybody. Where did all this divide start coming in? And it was so weird to me. Because, like I said, I was friends with everybody. I was never looked at differently. I didn't look at anyone else differently. We're all human beings.
Yeah.
And that's what people also don't realize. They think Trump started this divide. It definitely was not Trump that started this divide. It was Obama.
Let me tell you. Exactly. And, I'm a lot older than you, and I've known of Donald Trump a lot longer than you have. Now, one thing that's always been well known with Donald Trump is he's a coxman. Donald Trump is a coxman. That's what he does. That's what he likes. But I ain't never heard a motherfucker say that he was a racist until the man decided to run for president.
There's
the man got on
about him. Up Like Donald Trump. That's a very famous rap song that people used to be blaring in their cars. Like, that's why I'm like, hold on a second. Y'all were just rapping about him in your songs and using his name, and now he's racist?
Yeah.
But you're literally saying up like Donald Trump.
No.
What?
Donald Trump, and you and I talked earlier, I'm supporting him, and I think he is the best candidate. I was a Ron DeSantis guy. I think that Trump is a great is going to be a great president again. I'm not this diehard Trump guy. But one thing about him, he's not Kamala, look at the embarrassment that she's doing right now, Deirdre, with trying to get wherever she goes, she tries to adopt the fucking accent. And it's embarrassing. Trump, one thing about that man, he's who the fuck he is. He got on Dave Letterman's show back in the 90s. It said Mike Tyson was framed, and that woman wanted it. That wasn't a very popular thing to say, but you know what? He knew Mike Tyson.
Popular. Why does he have to be popular?
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't care about that. So he sure got on TV as this white billionaire and said Mike Tyson was framed. That don't sound real racist to me.
And I always just think back to those rap songs because, they were like my favorite songs. And I'm like, y'all cannot be rapping about the dude how you want to be like him.
Yeah.
And now you hate him. Because I like him even more because he's in all these rap songs and became president. Are you kidding me?
Don't get me started on Oprah.
He lived the American dream.
Yeah, don't get me started on Oprah. Oprah was on that man's jock 20 years ago, wanting him to run for president, and now he's a racist. Steve Harvey. I don't even want to watch the fucking. I love Family Feud. I don't even want to watch it anymore. That guy's such a glass of water.
I thought he was a Trump supporter.
No, not anymore. He was. Trump, when he was president, got Steve Harvey's organization and foundation all kinds of money, and now he has supported Kamala. No, he just came out a couple weeks ago.
Definitely done watching him then.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Really disappointing.
Yeah. So,
but here's the funny thing: is people are voting for this. Let's be honest. My dog is probably so much smarter than her, and my cat is probably so much smarter than her. Like, genuinely. And people, when I've asked them why they're voting for her, it's never anything logical. It's, well, wouldn't it be cool to have a woman as a president? No, not her. And it's funny because we had to make a whole documentary. Matt Waltz had to make a whole documentary on how you guys don't know what a woman is. And now all of a sudden, a couple days later, you guys know what a woman is.
Yeah.
Someone explain that to me. And for the people that aren't racist, them voting for someone just because of the color of her skin, I don't know. That might seem like the definition of racism.
Yeah, let me tell you about the Democrat Party. You know what they've done to RFK.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what they did to Tulsi Gabbard.
I love RFK.
And I love Tulsi.
Almost would have voted for him as a Democrat.
Yeah. And look,
don't tell my
I'm not it would be very hard for me, and I'm there's one issue that I have that I don't. Okay, and the reason why is the way the Democratic Party is. The only person that can win the Democrat primary is a far left person now. So I can't vote for a Democrat. The Supreme Court justice appointments mean so much to me, mean so much to this nation. I'm going to vote Republican no matter what because of that. Now, if you got an RFK or a Tulsi Gabbard, I would lean back. But what that means, if you had one, that means the Democrat Party has a paradigm shift. And they're going back moderate to that. My family were old Union Blue Dog Democrats back in the day. That party, the video on that the other day, I don't know if you saw it, that party doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, I've had union people tell me, oh, no, I'm union, you got to be Democrat. That party left you a long time ago. Black voters, I've had some black friends who told them, said, you don't have to vote Democrat because you're black. They left you a long time ago.
That is mind blowing to me. And I cannot figure that out because I just watched a video about this guy saying he started asking his family, like, why do we vote Democrat? And they're just like, well, I don't know. That's just what we're taught. And I'm like, wait, what? That's crazy. So these people are born and raised to just vote Democrat, like,
no matter what, vote Democrat.
Like, I don't understand where that came from. And like when I saw that video, I was like, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't understand that. Obviously, like I don't understand it. And I would love
it happens. I see it locally here with some of our unions and our black community. They're going to vote Democrat. You're just not going to you count that vote out if you're a Republican. Shit, it's hard if you're an independent.
I don't know. Like I saw that video and I was mind blown. I was like, what? And he was like, well, no, I go against the grain. I question everything. So no, I'm definitely going to vote opposite now. Now that I know that we don't even know why we vote Democrat, we just do it. Like, that's crazy.
So for us to close it up, what and we're going to have you back, and you and I are talking about doing something together, and I hope that works out. So what is the one issue that comes up that you're like, I got to get on TikTok and yell and scream about it? What is the one thing that just pisses you off and gets you, if you want to get Deirdre fired up, what is the one issue that is brought up? Give us a good TikTok rant, Deirdre rant.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I'd say currently, the people that are waving around Palestine flags and supporting terrorists, like blatantly. And I actually just got a strike on TikTok for commenting on a video of them literally saying they're in support of Hamas. And mind you, these were LGBTQIA people, or however many letters and stuff they have now. And I'm like, you should probably know about the country before you start protesting about it. Like, that gets me fired up more than anything because of how stupid these people look, to say the very least.
Yeah.
Brain dead would probably be a better word.
Yeah.
Because in Palestine, you would never be able to do any of this. And those terrorists are laughing at you. I mean, I would be. If they had rainbow flags saying free Palestine. Are you kidding me?
Oh, they would be killed in those countries.
They would have their heads
used
as a soccer ball through the streets. That's what would happen. I mean, seriously.
That's a good point. You've got gay people that are pro Palestine and Hamas, and they would be killed in that country for being gay. Unfucking believable.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying not to get fired up because that just makes my head spin around at how stupid these people are. Like, they do not know that Hamas is literally in charge of the country. So if you want to free Palestine, you might want to rip them away from the terrorists or leaders that they have. And you might actually want to go to that country to free them. Please, for the love of God, go to that country. That'd be great.
Well, so we're gonna have you back. Hopefully work something out and have you back next week. Because what I want to do is, I know our viewers would love to hear, and we're gonna tease them a little bit and tell them that where were you January 6th of 2021, Deirdre? Where were you at?
Holy moly, it sounds like what they said when they came to my door. That is exactly what they said, actually. I was in Washington, D.C.
You were at the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
and
that's all
they get. I'll bring my sign that I had and everything, because I did not throw that away.
Well, we're going to have you back on that one. And also what we're going to talk about is censorship. And I hadn't told you this. We hadn't talked. I got censored tonight by TikTok.
Yay, you finally made it.
Yeah, I finally made it. I'm one of y'all now.
Made it.
They are, it's unbelievable, the censorship with TikTok. So we're going to close with this. So you tell me, TikTok is owned by China, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are censoring you. They're censoring me. There's a couple other people that are like us that I follow. They're censoring the fuck out of them. So you tell me who China wants as the fucking president.
Yeah, wow. I didn't even think about that.
They want Joe Biden. Joe Biden. They want Kamala. They want weak-ass Kamala and weak-ass, fairy-ass Tim Walz. That's who they want. So they can bully him around. They can't bully the Donald. They can't bully him.
Mm-mm. And actually, if you listen to Tucker Carlson's interview, Putin said that in there. He said, well, I respect Donald Trump, but I'd vote for Biden because we can get away with whatever we want with him.
He's better for their country.
He literally said that.
And you know what? Well, they can't vote, but you and I are going to vote for who's better for us. We're going to support who's better for us. Well, they don't have to vote. Their support goes with how much money they're pumping in through the back channels.
A lot.
Yeah, and just the manipulation. It's people don't realize all they're going to do is turn on NBC at 5:30, get their little fix with NBC, and that they're just going to believe whatever they tell them. They're not going to be like my mom, who watches Fox News all day, every day. See, so
even with the Fox News and all that, anything I hear or see, I'm cross-researching all of it. I don't care what it is. I need to find other sources.
And that's me too. I like to rant, but I'm going to do my homework. And I've been real vocal lately on George Floyd, because George Floyd did not die. He was not killed. He died of overdose.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some people come at me and I tell them, hey, look, I don't mind debating, but I'm not debating with people who don't do their homework.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, if you want to go and watch the hours of body cam footage that I did and research all the documents that I did and still feel the same way, I'll have an intelligent conversation with you. But if you're going to get your information from fucking CNN and not go look up for yourself, I'm not even talking to you about it because you're not educated enough. Because all you're doing is just spewing garbage, and you're being a sheep is all you're being.
Yep.
So I appreciate you coming on, Deirdre. I hope this is the first of many.
Yeah, absolutely. I
You know,
appreciate you
as an
having me.
old guy, I'm proud of you. There's not many people your age and being a young mom that is doing that. And that's important because if you wouldn't have chosen that path, I don't know if you would feel the same way, because you would just be watching NBC and you would be hearing them say that the Republicans only care about the rich people. You're not a rich person and they don't care about you. And you know that's false because you did your
Don't get me
research.
started on that either.
Oh no, we're gonna get started on it. Like next time, that's what we'll do. We'll get started on that. So anything you want to close
Talk
with?
for hours. Holy moly!
Well, that's good.
Insanity in this country.
Yeah. So what do you want to close with?
Just be smart and do your homework.
Yeah, pretty much it.
And get out there. Go to school board meetings. Just kidding.
And you know, okay, I'm gonna comment on that before we go. You talked about, you know, it starts with our kids' education, but let me tell you another thing. That's what you're going to learn. A lot of these politicians that are state reps and end up being congressmen, look at where they started as a school board member. So you go learn them real quick on who they are and how they vote, because they're using that as a stepping stone. I've seen it a million times.
Mm-hmm. You got to stand up for yourself. Stop folding to these people.
Yep, I agree.
Way more of us than them.
Yep. Well, again, I'm so pumped that you came on, and I hope this is the first of many.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Until next time, McGee and Looney are out.